Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. You are probably just as disappointed as I am that I am not wearing earrings again. I'm losing my grip, people, losing my grip. It is the middle of January. I don't know when I'm going to post this. And this is my what I read in December 2020 wrap up. Okay, so first off, if we're going to review December 2020, we have to look at the TBR cards I was supposed to read. Read a book about climate change. Did I? No, I did not. Read a debut novel. I think I did this one, but I'm not sure if I did it or not. Let's look at the books and see. And comment on 20 YouTube channels. So I did do that one. Actually, I probably exceeded that 20. And I have gotten new YouTube subscribers. I think mostly because, maybe people like my content. Thanks for being here. But also, I think, interacting on social media platforms, even one that's very long video based like YouTube, really gets people interacting back. So I am happy with having crossed my 300 mark shortly after, in December. I crossed it in December, I think. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah, I did. As we look at these books, I'm looking to see if any of them count for the debut novel, but I know I didn't read the climate change one, even though I checked one out on Libby and was going to read it, but I just got behind in everything else. So I'm actually debating whether or not I'm going to pull any TBR cards for January. We're already kind of almost in the middle of January, and you'll see from my next video that I have a lot of book clubs and discussion and challenges that I'm going to try and do. So maybe I'll pull TBR cards for January, but I got to get a handle on that first. All right, so in 2020, for the ones that I did separate videos for, I will just link them in the cards rather than spending a lot of time on them. Okay, so the first one that I read in December was The Five. So The Five is about the 5 women whose murders are attributed to Jack the Ripper. And it was basically an attempt to give each of these 5 women a voice and a backstory, and to really highlight that they were people. And kind of the other kind of theme, I think there were a couple of them. One, that family planning is a major feminist issue and that women should be allowed to have some say in how many children a family has. And that the assumption that the first woman who was murdered, and it was attributed to Jack the Ripper, the assumption that she was a sex worker probably influenced the interpretations of the other women who were attributed, other women whose deaths were attributed to Jack the Ripper. So I thought that was interesting. Also, the role of alcohol in a lot of their lives and a lot of their struggles was really interesting. Not just the 5 women, but also their families and other people around them. So I thought it was an interesting book. If you're interested in nonfiction, it is biographical. So it is about these women. The author did do research on these women and find out about their lives. But again, there is also some element of humanizing and speculation related to telling the stories, but it's nonfiction. The second one I read was The Jumbies. So this is a middle grade, I don't know if you would call it horror, but you could call it horror as a middle grade book. It is about the creatures who live on a Caribbean island, sort of in the woods, and they kind of have the reputation, they're the boogeymen of the stories of the people, and they're called the Jumbies, but there are lots of different kinds. So the Jumbies is basically like what you might call the boogeymen. And the girl's mother has passed away, when she was young, and she lives with her dad, and there is a strange new woman that has shown up on the island, and weird things start happening, and this girl is basically trying to make sure that her family and her island stay safe from the Jumbies, who are under the control of this woman. I really liked it. I believe it's a trilogy, if not a longer series, so I have every intention of picking up the next books. In a Holidays was the book that I read for the Boozy Baking Bibliophiles book club on Instagram. It was also a book of the month, I think in November, maybe December. And it was fine. It was a romance, light on the sexy time. I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to, or as much as I wanted to, because the same authors who wrote In a Holidays also wrote The Unhoneymooners, I think. Is that right? They wrote another book. So Christina Lauren is a partnership. They wrote another book I really loved. And so when In a Holidays was picked for the book club, I was really excited about it. And I didn't love it as much, but I liked it fine. Uzumaki was the fourth book I read. That is a horror manga, and it was really good. I really liked the artwork that just added to the creepy crawly-ness of this series of stories about a town that's basically being taken over by a spiral shape that has a kind of long history in this area of the world. These Violent Delights is a retelling, a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I did do a video, I think, or I've just talked about it in every single video since I read it. I really liked it. It's since it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, what that really means is that it's a family blood feud trope, and the two main characters are both youngish people, like late teens, early 20s, are the heirs of rival street gangs in Shanghai. So it was great. I loved it. Yes, read that. Deathless Divide by Justina Ireland. Pretty sure Justina Ireland. Yeah. Is the sequel to, oh, good gravy. I forgot. I'll post both books up here. I checked it out as a library book, so I can't hold it up, and I don't remember what the first one's called. It's about a zombie apocalypse interrupting the Civil War. Let's see. Wrong Guy, Right Room was a book that I got for free from the author, who's just spreading the word about her book. And it's about a woman who is trapped in a hotel room with her ex from high school on the weekend of her wedding to some other douchebag. It was funny. There were funny parts. Happy Ever After. Some light to medium sexy time. The City We Became. Okay, so this was my raving book, I think. One of two raving books for December. N.K. Jemisin. It's about, I'll link it because I talked about it last week, I think, for my wrap up. It is about the avatars of the 5 boroughs and New York City as a whole coming together to keep away an evil presence. And then 8 Perfect Murders was my very last book of 2020. It's about a man who wrote a list of the 8 perfect murders from literature, and then he's approached by the FBI to help them find a killer who's using his list to kill people, as you might imagine. My favorites were The Violent Delights, no shocker, and The City We Became, no shocker there. If I can pick 3, and I can because it's my channel, I'll do whatever I want, then Deathless Divide was right up there, and The Jumbies was right up there. I really also liked Uzumaki, but less consistently throughout the very long manga. So I really enjoyed at least half of those, which is a pretty good year for me. And I'm pretty sure These Violent Delights was a debut by, I believe her last name is Gong. So that means that that card for my TBR cards was satisfied. So I was 2 out of 3 for my TBR cards for December. That probably should mean I have to still read that climate change book for 2021. I'm not sure I'm going to hold myself to that. I might be one of those people who cheats at their own game. Sorry, y'all. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, so that was December 2020, and I just finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue yesterday, so I will tell you about that one in another video. I will catch you on the next one.